All right, going live. Thank you. Hey, here we are. Elaine Marolakos Edelson with astrologymojo.com. Want to help you get your mojo back. Today is Thursday, September 27th. Wow. Well, let's see. So much going on. Hi, Star. Star is here. And right off the proverbial male reference baseball bat, I pulled the emotion card for the group today. Hi, Tony. And the emotion card is very interesting because, first of all, it's very pretty. It looks like a, look at that. Isn't that beautiful artwork? So the emotion card has a lot to do with the energy that you're putting into the world. You know, emotion is energy, motion squared. And so what are you putting into the world? Today we're going to talk about the 9 areas of karmic debt that you have or might have, one or several. And Star says, question mark, what does that mean? Emotion. Let me put my glasses on so I can actually see. What deck is that? Oh, okay. So this deck is not for sale. It was a beta testing deck that I fell in love with that my husband gave to me many years ago. He met the authors of this, Lara Solara and Dana DuPoint and Marlene Chapman, made a universal law of consciousness cards deck, and it is not for sale. So it is beautiful. They're all fractal images that match my blouse. That's why I buy cards, so that they can match my outfits. You see, look at all these fractal things. They're beautiful. So, and they're the universal laws, and there's many of them. There's the law of reciprocity. There's the law of acceptance. There's the law of love. There's so many. The law of visualization, the law of polarity. So, hey, Dean's here. Hi, honey. So these cards they go with me when I give readings at events, or sometimes I'll do work at the spas in town here in Sedona when they're looking for extra people to fill in. Anyway, so beautiful deck, isn't it? So the emotion card. Oh, good for you. Excellent. Good. Well, let us know about the deck that you're creating. Will it deal with animals? I wonder, because you're so efficient. You're so efficient with animals. You're so proficient and loving and caring with animals. So the emotion card and the universal law of emotion has to do with what you're putting out into the world. It's not just the feelings that you have, but it's the action that you combine with the feeling. Okay, today, right now, we are live, 10 a.m. Pacific time, September 27th, 2018. If by chance you're listening to this in a replay and you ask me a question in the comment box, which some people do, and I thank you for that, and that's wonderful, I may not see it and I may not respond to it, so please forgive in advance. If you are on this particular live event and you have questions, put them in the comment box and we can get to those. But today we're talking about and what does the emotion card have to do with what we're going to be talking about? The 9 karmic areas of debt in your life, and you can have many of them. But specifically, we're going to cover the creative debt, sexual debt, familial debt, that's with your family, career debt, emotional debt, health debt, relationship debt, financial debt, and spiritual debt. And most people think, and these are going to be what we're talking about today is just a tiny little piece of my VIP, Vibrant, Illuminated, Powerful training intensive program that I give to groups and individuals. And the VIP intensive training talks about and helps you understand where your debt is so that you can actually start to attain your goals in life. And provided you follow the exercises in the 14-page curriculum that I give you. So if you're interested in the VIP program, it is a high-end program. It is for people who are very serious, and I would talk to you for 15 minutes to find out if this program is right for you. You can email me at elaine@astrologymojo.com. In the meantime, I am offering a Venus retrograde 30-minute session to help you understand how to move past your debt once you determine what type of debt that you have. And the emotion card that I just pulled, and when I do work with people, and even if it's virtual, it never surprises me that the energy that I put into, or the thoughts that I put into pulling a card, for instance, or gleaning information about someone, it is channeled, right? Everyone who exists is a natural born channel. It happens to be my profession. And if it's not your profession, you can still up your game by understanding your types of debt so that you can be more aware of your contribution or your reactions versus your responses. Emotional energy creates the impetus for action. And I think it's important that if you're looking to achieve something really profound in awareness, to make more money in a way that makes you happy, not just working overtime or, scraping by. And I knew a woman once who was so into poverty consciousness, bless her, that she thought, okay, I'll just cut the cable bill. We can sell the TV. My kids and I don't, we can play game. And I thought, oh my gosh, you don't need to do that. You don't need to shrink and contract in order to have more. The whole idea of moving beyond debt is to free yourself from the restraints of your repetitive self-sabotage, right? Don't we want to do that? I do. I solemnly swear. I do. Don't you? So while you're listening to this, let me know what you think your debt is. Is it financial? Is it sexual? Is it career debt? Is it emotional? Maybe you don't allow yourself to express or you don't allow yourself to feel too much. Is your debt relationship? I have amazing clients who don't have any friends because they're such power people that they work, and then they turn around and go, oh, wait a minute. I used to have a friend, Elaine, will you be my friend? And I say, of course, you live in a different country or across the globe. I'm happy to be your friend. But I think it's time you start developing friendships by not being so afraid of losing control. So these are some issues that people have when they have relationship debt. Now, their spiritual debt is where people might just, and none of this is a judgment, by the way. You might just be starting out and thinking, oh, this is fun. I'm curious about, astrology or numerology or meditating or, hey, that was a coincidence. I needed something and I thought about it and suddenly, it came to me. Wow. That was random, not actually. So spiritual debt is just at the beginning of waking up to your potential and what you are connected to and to what you truly believe about yourself and this world. And emotion card and 9 karmic debts. Oh, you will love this. Oh, you are forwarding that to someone. Okay, cool. Well, Cindy, hope you like this. Health debt. Now, you can have all the money that fit to print, all the money you could ever imagine having, and not have a healthy sexual relationship in your marriage. Or you can have the best relationship ever. It's epic. It's worthy of storytelling. But you may not have great health, or you may be wondering, what's my purpose in life and where can I excel? What do I do with my time and my energy? Or perhaps you have great family relationships and a fantastic career, but you have no money. So debt shows up in many different places in your life. It's not just financial. When I used to talk about debt on stage and with very powerful business people, their mind went right to money. It's like, no, we're not going to be talking about money on stage. And I said, oh no, I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about 9 karmic areas of debt. And one of them is money. So where do you lack? Where is it that you lack? And think about, and it can be a combination. So what I want you to do is to tune into your body by taking a deep breath right now. We're just gonna relax our shoulders and just get calm. And I want you to close your eyes, and I'm going to say the word of the 9 karmic areas of debt. And the one that has the most electrical charge, where there's the most emotion around it, is probably going to be your main area of debt. And it may surprise you or it may not. So just get comfortable now and close your eyes just for a moment, taking a nice deep breath, relaxing. Now I'm going to name the 9 areas of debt, and you just take note where that word resonates the most in your body, or how it brings up an electrical charge, or it may lay flat, which means you're good. You're covered. All right. So one more deep breath in and exhale. These are the 9 areas of karmic debt. Creative, sexual, familial, career, emotional, health, financial, relationship, spiritual. Now, if you're just joining us, we're talking about the 9 areas of karmic debt and which one might resonate the most with you. So if people who have been listening and did this exercise with me, what did you come up with? What was your main area of emotional electrical charge on these words? Let me know. And we are in a 10-second delay, so I'm going to take a sip of my morning Swiss press decaf brew. Hi, Sasha. Happy Thursday to you. I will be back on Monday and at 4 p.m. Pacific time, 6 p.m. Central, and 7 p.m. Eastern. And we're going to continue the conversation around your debt, around Venus, and around Pluto. So Star says creative. Okay, so if you had the most electrical charge around creative debt, then designing and creating this deck of cards is going to help you fulfill that. And now for a woman, especially with Venus going retrograde October 5th, we're already in the pre-phase all the way through November 16th and 17th. 15, 16, 17, add a week though, for Venus to turn direct. Now, when a woman experiences Venus in retrograde, then what really shows is the areas in their life that are lacking. That's the debt area. That's the part of your life that you either disallow abundance out of whatever reason. We can discover that in a private one-on-one session. Click the book now button for the 25% off special on my 30-minute Venus retrograde and reading. And we're going to find out how to get over that hump for you during this Venus retrograde. And so now Sasha says financial and relationship. So sometimes when we look at the areas that we are lacking, the debt areas, we think, I was in a relationship and it was great and they left, or I got divorced, or they passed away, or it just fizzled. And, and I don't want to go there. I don't want to go there. I know someone who's been married a few times and said, I don't do marriage. I guess I just don't do marriage. And so now there's no relationship in this person's life. So it doesn't mean you're destined not to have a relationship. It just means that there's parts of you that are already hardwired to say, I don't think so. Not going to go there. It didn't feel good. Now, I remember living with someone for many years, and it was just a toxic relationship. But at the time, I thought this is as good as it gets, like the movie with Helen Hunt and Jack Nicholson. And it doesn't have to be that. You can get beyond this debt or the area of lack in your life by just really understanding the fear associated with these topics. Like for Sasha, financial, it may be you work really hard, or you're dependent on a salary, or you're dependent on another person to see you through it. But no matter the details of it, the core is really going to be about where you don't allow. Remember, Venus retrograde is about going inward to find, and Venus represents not just romance, but art, design, creativity, and finances and practical law applications. That means setting up contracts or understanding the rules of society. So wherever you have debt right now during this Venus retrograde, especially if you're a woman, it's going to bring up that one area. And so I want you to look at the details and do a writing exercise where you write down, okay, so Star says creative debt. So then you would write down in a journal or on a sheet of paper, I have creative debt. Okay, what does that mean? What does creative mean to you? Because it could mean something different to me than it does to you. So you have to start working out your own dictionary. And these tools that I give you are just like a little snippet of things that I will do in my VIP program or in a private session. So where you get the full-blown effect and we really go in and we get deep. But on your own, you can still do some of this work to prepare yourself to open to more abundance and prosperity. Because, being in debt sucks. I mean, let's face it. I hear it from every single client. Oh, I have a client who is an attorney and is retiring and says, oh yeah, I'm good with cash. I'm good with cash. But now what? Now what do I do? And this is a go-getter person. So we're looking at a career debt, right? Because there's nothing in the offing, and it's just a transition phase, really, to decide and determine what is best for this person. But we're going to go backwards and say, where are the areas that are big hole gaps in your life? And it's not going to deal with career. It's not going to be career, because it's the most obvious is, okay, so Star says I have creative debt. But if you think, hi, Kitty, if you think that you are a creative person and you are applying that energy and you're allowing yourself to really, do different types of creation. As a woman, you could create by giving birth. As a woman, you could create by baking. Not to say that men don't bake, but it's just something that women want to nurture more. Most women want to nurture more. And women also have this extra hormone that gives them more empathy. So in the creative area, you could be grabbing a friend and saying, let's go to karaoke. Let's just do something crazy, because anything that fulfills the idea of making something new is creation. You can create a business, you can paint, you can write, you can draw. So again, you need to understand your own definition. So on a piece of paper, you want to write, I have this debt. Well, what is it? For Sasha, says, I feel like the life lesson I'm supposed to learn and grow from with my boyfriend is going on 9 years. I keep missing. Okay, well, if you're missing something, then it stands to reason that you need outside help, intervention. So click on the Book Now button for the Venus retrograde, and we'll go to these places. But in the meantime, you can write down, I have relationship debt, or I have sexual debt, or you may have great sex, but you really don't have intimacy. And there's a definition. People think that intimacy equals sex, and it doesn't. You can have the best sex in the world and never really know the person you're with, right? That's intimacy. Into me you see. So when you write down the area of creative debt, the area of debt or lack that you think you have, and again, I'll go over it for some people who might have just recently joined, to do this exercise really well, I want you to just close your eyes and take a breath and just relax. And I'm going to say 9 different words, and you feel them in your body, and which one has the most electrical charge, which one has the most emotions surrounding it. All right, so deep breath in Deep breath out. Really let it go. All right, so close your eyes. So here we are. I'm going to start saying the words and you feel where they have the most charge, all right? Creative, sexual, familial, career, emotional, health, financial, relationship, spiritual. So, Kitty says emotional. So if you have determined what type of debt or area of lack you have in your life, then I want you to start writing about it, at least several paragraphs. So if you pick emotional debt, oh, I have emotional debt. I don't know how to, and you fill in the blank. I don't know how to express myself freely. I feel bottled up. I get frustrated easily. I seem to attract angry people or people who are controlling or people who don't allow me to express myself. You know, if you've got relationship debt, which is different than sexual debt, it can mean I don't have any friends in my life, or I do, but it's just surface relationships, or this is what happens when you write down, you know, I have relationship debt. This is what happens when I start to relate to people. I get nervous. I get anxious. I smile all the time. I pretend everything is great and I don't speak my mind, you know, so whatever it is that happens to you in these areas, emotional, health, financial, relationship, spiritual, creative, sexual, familial. That's a big one for a lot of people in the family. And career. I want you to write down what it is that you think is wrong. All right, you could say financial debt, there's not enough. There's not enough money. Okay, well, what else? How would you like to make your money? How would you like to invest your money? And beside that, what is your relationship to money? So you may have relationship debt, and that's really the core instead of financial debt. Because if you have a relationship to the outside world that is not comfortable, it's going to show up in big ways with people, with how you make your money, with how you invest your money, with understanding finances at all. If you don't understand finances, you may say, oh, I have financial debt. You know, my bank account is kind of low and, you know, I don't make a lot of money and I work overtime and I've got to budget my bills. Okay, great. But let's take it a step further. What happens when you think about making more money? What happens when you think about this and write about this? What happens when you think about someone giving you something, a gift? Here's a gift card to Amazon, $50. Go on a shopping spree. You know, what's the reaction that you have? What's the emotion? Remember the original card I pulled on today's event is the emotion card. And emotion is energy in motion. So what's the energy and what's the emotion around what you think your debt is? Hi, Kate. Kate's here too. So, you know, these things are really important to break down so that you understand what it feels like to deal with your karma. You know, people think karma is, you get sideswiped by someone you murdered, you know, in Europe 1,000 years ago. Okay, and that's possible. But bigger than that, karma is every thought, action, inaction, experience you have. That's all it is. It's what you put out into the world. So if you think, and karma doesn't come calling, it's not immediate, you know. So you might say, oh, I tripped and I fell and I was disqualified from the race. You know, I couldn't continue and it really broke my heart and oh well. So whether it's next week, next month, next year, 10 years later, 100 years later, a different lifetime altogether, you know, whatever it is, if you feel like you have unfinished business with something or someone or some part of your growth, and we all do, that's why we're here. Welcome to planet Earth, ladies and gentlemen. How may I direct your call? You are here to smooth out your karma. Okay? It's not good or bad. It's merely a harmonizing of energy. Let's look at it that way. So Star is going to get busy with her creative karma and working on those cards to help illuminate other people. And to feel this energy that moves through you is creative at all time. It's called spiritual energy. So if you think you have spiritual debt, I'm not talking about religion. I'm talking about where you realize that suddenly that outside random thing is there because you exist. That's making the connection, right? You know, some people have, let's say, familial debt is a big one. You know, now familial debt is where it's hard for you to make the separation between your family and your own personal identity. So anytime there is any kind of failure in your life, it comes back to your relationship to someone in your family or more than one person in your family. And I've seen familial debt exist with my VIP clients who are huge professionals, who are on television, who, you know, have big businesses, and that never occurred to them that their lack or their inability to heal this relationship resulted in these things in business. So they would come to me and say, oh yeah, I have career debt. You know, I'm not making as much as I want to, or I want to expand in a different market, or I'm going into a different country and it's not happening. And then we do the whole VIP thing, or, you know, we really get into it through the curriculum. And 6 hours later, you know, it's like they're blown away by, oh my gosh, I never realized it was my relationship to my sister that has been stopping me from expanding my international market. Like, who would make that connection? Well, when you look at it energetically, that's when the emotions really come into play, and you see where there's an emotional charge, right? So Sasha says emotional. And I think it's important that when, especially, right, women who are on the call, women. Okay. So during the Venus retrograde, it's going to be really important that you pay attention to where you suddenly feel stubborn, really resistant, angry about something, or totally like a victim. Completely in the, you know, I can't, oh my God, I can't. So when you find those moments, you're going to attach it to something, right? A situation, start writing about it, because you're going to get to your lack or your debt, karmic area of debt a lot quicker. So that's what one of the greatest things, you know, people have said to me before, what are retrogrades good for? You're like, what is the point? Well, the point of a retrograde is to really examine and self-reflect, to review, to renegotiate, to rehash, to release, or renew. So how would you like to do any of these things? Once you find your area of karmic debt during this retrograde, now remember, Venus is retrograde. And now, you know, planetary information overlaps. So you may feel it later, you may feel it sooner. If you are a Taurus, sun, rising, or moon, Scorpio, sun, rising, or moon, or Libra, sun, rising, or moon, you are going to feel the Venus retrograde the most. And or if you were born with a Venus in Scorpio, Libra, or Taurus. Now, these areas don't mean that they're going to be negative. It just means that it's going to impact you more because it's your timing. You know, the planets literally just tell you what time it is. You know, you look at your watch and you go, oh, okay, so Venus is retrograde. It's time for me to deal with finances. Or Venus is retrograde. It's time for me to deal with my relationship debt. So it's not a negative thing, but it can be emotional, right? I'm going to pull another card for the group and focus on the Venus retrograde energy for everyone and what it can really help you do. So everyone who is on this event now live, today is Thursday, September 27th, and it is 10:30 Pacific time right now, and that's 1:30 Eastern time. We're looking at where your debt is based on what your emotional quotient is. Like, how would you rate it? financial debt, creative debt, sexual debt, career debt, familial debt, spiritual debt, health debt, or did I say relationship debt? Yeah. So the 9 areas of karmic debt show up big time in retrogrades. And that's why I love to do VIPs and readings in retrogrades. Now, Pluto retrograde is going direct on the 30th. We're already starting to feel that shift into I'm more direct, I'm more structured, I'm more focused on a particular thing, or I'm more aware of where I have self-sabotaged and where I feel like a victim. So when Pluto goes direct this week, in just a couple of days, that also adds to the Venus in retrograde, because now it's like, oh, I just felt that. And then things come into play. Suddenly you get that phone call from the person you haven't heard from, or, the paperwork comes in, or you get an opportunity come your way, or you meet people that can help you attain your goal. So it's important for you to take these things in stride. Now, let me just focus on the card for the group for Venus in retrograde. This one keeps coming up, and it is, interesting. This card is called, backwards, repetition. Repetition. So the law of repetition is, you might think practice makes perfect, and it doesn't. I think I talked about that last time. Practice does not make perfect. Kitty says the blue book. There's a blue button on my Facebook page if you wanted to book a reading at 25% off. It's a 30-minute session, Venus in retrograde. So there's no blue book. Not sure what that means. To book a session. So maybe that's what you heard. The blue button, book a session. So repetition, the law of repetition is an interesting one, because, people equate that old phrase of practice makes perfect, and it doesn't. For me, it makes experience, but what does that experience teach you? What are you looking to achieve? If you don't know your intentions, it makes it harder for you to get to where you want to go. It was Yogi Berra who said, if you don't know where you're going, how are you going to get there? So, repetition of something healthy and conscious and intentional, if you want to create an intentional life, the law of repetition is on your side. So start with one thing, what we talked about today. I'm going to do it one more time for folks, just to understand what your area of karmic debt might be. And then you write about it, write about what that feels like, that word, and write what happens if you engage this topic and what's been the pushback from the world. Because it's not about the people in the world, it's about your disallowing. Some part of you is disallowing. And when Venus goes retrograde, this is the perfect time to find out where and what the source is, so that you can reverse that energy and then start to see flow in that area. All right. So, and then you can repeat the process by actually giving yourself more time to, let's say, if you have financial debt, you want to go over your finances, consolidate your debt, financial debt, your credit cards, talk to a financial planner, start to research what you can do with your money. Or if you don't have money to invest, then you start looking at, where do I budget? Where do I throw my money away in places where I really don't need to be doing? Or where do I give way too much and don't allow myself to get back? So then you can assess for yourself on paper the steps that you can take in a very healthy way to get to that next level, that next place. Because it's all about layers, layering your process, and to help you go to the next place. So again, if you joined us late in this event and you're not exactly sure where your debt is, I want you to close your eyes, take a deep breath. Now I'm going to say the 9 areas of karmic debt, and you're going to feel, even after this conversation, do this again. It may change. And feel where these words, which one resonates the most with an electrical emotional charge? Which one do you feel the most? All right. So eyes closed, nice deep breath. Exhale. The 9 areas of karmic debt are emotional, health, financial, relationship, spiritual, creative, sexual, familial, that's your family, and career. So I'm going to take a sip. People, let me know if you did this exercise, where do you feel it now? What's your biggest electrical charge, emotional charge on those 9 areas of debt? And remember, repetition is not just practice makes perfect. That doesn't work. Because you could do the same thing over and over again that doesn't get you a result. And what's the perfection in that? There is none. You're perfecting poverty, or you're perfecting self-sabotage, or you're perfecting hitting your head against the wall over and over and over again. That's not going to be great. So the next card that I pulled, so Rika says familiar. Familial, so that means your family. So that had an electrical charge. Kitty, emotional and health. And Sasha, it moved, didn't it? It moved, right? So the more I start to talk, when I talk to people, whether it's Skype, whether it's on the phone, or whether it's in person or a live event like this, even if it's a replay, I am putting energy out into the group to work on your chakras. Chakra will be another topic of conversation coming up in the next couple of weeks. We'll be talking about chakras. But this particular area of karmic debt, now it's family. So you want to take a look at by writing down during this Venus retrograde, which happens October 5th through November 16th, add a week to either side for the motion to, come in and come out of the retrograde. We're in the pre-phase now. You're going to feel it. And when you look at these areas of karmic debt, I want you to write it down in a journal on a piece of paper when you have time to get clear, when the distractions are put aside, you shut off the phone, get away from the TV, nice deep breaths, take care of your body. Venus retrograde, ladies, take care, nurture, love, self. It starts with you. And then the rest changes in your life and in the world. Everything in your life is there because of you. So if you don't like what you see, let's start to move this energy just a little bit. So Kitty says emotional. And so if you've got emotional karmic debt, then what you want to do is write down how you feel daily in a journal. Write down how you feel. I feel, and it can be neutral. And it can be, I'm tired, but that's not really a feeling. That's usually a head word for feeling. So you can say, I feel sad, or I feel like a victim. I feel like I should give up. I just feel so exhausted from trying. I feel resentful. I feel angry. So as long as you start to name how you feel, and then the big girl thing to do is when you're feeling these things to actually express them. And if nobody's in the room, you just say it out loud. I'm angry, or I'm so sad, I need to cry. Then cry and allow yourself or made you feel unsure of yourself. You can say, listen, I'd like to have, you set it up. I'd like to have a conversation. And this applies to familial relationships and debt. And if you've got relationship debt, emotional debt, and familial, this all comes together, okay? So you can apply this technique. First, you get rid of the excess stuff when no one's looking. You're on your own. You set up your time, your me time, your private time, your sacred time, your healing time. Venus retrograde, healing. And you write about it. I feel this. I feel that. I can't stand when my brother walks in the room and he's so condescending, or blah, 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 or my father, my mother, my cousin, whatever. And you lay it all down and you start to move that energy, and you get a lot of it out of your system. But if it's family, it's going to go back years. So there may be, like stacks. There may be like an eruption waiting to happen. So you want to simmer that. And then when you're actually with the person and everything's going great, fine. When things are going well, in a relationship or with a family member, you can say, listen, I was hoping we could get some quality private time just to have a chat. Would Saturday work for you? And you set up an appointment, okay? This way you let them, and they might go, yeah, it's like everything okay? And you go, yeah, I just wanted to chat. I just wanted to get to know you better. Or I just wanted to talk to you about something. And they might say, well, let's talk now. Because then it's on their terms, and that brings up your victim, and it brings up all your anger and your angst and your resentment. You go, no, I can't now. But if we're good for Saturday or Sunday, or you schedule a time, then great. Then when you talk to this person, you don't say you did this and you did that, or I'm undergoing spiritual healing. You don't go there. Okay. What you do is you set it up by saying, I want to feel really comfortable with you, and I don't. And I want to talk about that. So you stay in I messages. I would like to feel comfortable, and I don't. And, last time when we were at the picnic, or we were at mom's house, or this other thing happened, I just felt awkward with you. And I'm wondering if we could just talk about that and just begin the conversation that way and see where it goes. Now, if you're talking to someone who's highly defensive, who's really angry, and who needs to be in control, you may not get anywhere. But the point of the conversation is that you have expressed yourself. And it was scary. And you hang up the phone and you're shaking and you're sweating and you're thinking, oh my gosh, I did it. I did it. Yay. Star in your head. You did it. Okay, so you want to start acting on these things once you get clear. Creative debt, you write about it, what you think that means, what kind of creative debt you think you have, and then go and do random things. Planting seeds is creative. Singing karaoke, painting a picture. Doesn't matter if you know how to paint or draw or sing or dance. It doesn't matter. Put on some music, dance around in your living room. Get the energy going. We want to get your mojo going, right? So get that energy moving, and you're going to see results. Now we have a question from Jen. How is karmic debt different from where your Chiron resides in your chart? That's very different. And that's a whole different conversation. Oh, thank you, Kitty. But yay, chakras, we will talk about. Right, Sasha, practice makes permanent. You remembered from the last event. So Chiron is going to be more about your relationship to your masculine parent and what you experience with being assertive in life. So it can fall into karmic debt, but I designed the VIP program specifically after 33 years of working with people on the same issue over and over and over again, and distilled it into the 9 areas where people experience the most debt, lack. Okay. So that's emotional, health, financial, relationship, spiritual, creative, sexual, familial, with your family, and career. These are the 9 areas of karmic debt that I work with. Chiron deals more with your relationship to your masculine parent, and then how you assert yourself in the world. I hope that helps. Okay, so we're going to wrap it up here. Folks, please take these exercises to heart. They will help you if you practice them. And remember, repetition, say the cards. And my angels who are here to help you ignite your angels and get that all going. If you'd like to book a 30-minute private session with me, click the blue Book Now button on my Facebook page. Now, if you're on a mobile or a different device than a computer, it might be below you instead of above you. So look for the blue Book Now button, and it's 25% off. And we're going to find out where your debt is and how you can reverse it, overcome it, and start to move forward in life. I will be back on Monday. What is Monday's date? Oh, October 1st. Wow, I can't believe Monday already. I will be back on Monday at 4 p.m. Pacific time, 6 p.m. Central, and 7 p.m. Eastern. Until then, be the best you can be. Be sparkly. Thank you for being, and thank you for being here. And I wish you peace. And I'll see you on Monday.